So we have to talk about what is arguably, according to the opinions of many, one of the most disappointing cruise ships to ever hit the seven seas, as it appears that the line as a whole has been critiqued and shamed into submission. By that I mean it's going to go through somewhat of a refurbishment and upgrades on board. Now I'm going to explain the little giblets here because I myself has been on this particular cruise ship on 4 separate occasions, back when it was one line and then back when it was the line in question here. By the way, before we dive into this spicy topic, I do have a tiny morsel of news for all of you fine folk. As many of you know, I'm currently in Greece, and I am boarding Virgin Voyage's brand new cruise ship, the Resilient Lady, the ship I was supposed to be working on just 1 year ago. The ship has now arrived, and it's just down the street from me. I will be meeting with some friends of mine that are crew on board, getting all the tea and giblets that come with working on board cruise ships, so I may have some cool content coming up. Also, Business Insider wrote an article about me. Can you guys believe it? I actually think it's pretty cool. I don't think it's a huge deal. However, my girlfriend Lauren's crying and my family's jumping for joy. They said that I have made it. I don't really think of it that way, but either way, I still think it's pretty cool. I will link the article in the description box below and in the comment section for you guys. So many of you may or may not be familiar with Margaritaville. You know, Jimmy Buffett and the parrot head and the flip-flop thing that they have going on. So just last year in 2022, they decided to launch a brand new product, a cruise line called Margaritaville at Sea. And they would launch with only one cruise ship, which would be the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. Now, the name doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, and the ship itself is a little bit seasoned. Back in the 90s, when the vessel belonged to Costa Cruise Lines, it was known as the Costa Classica. Up until 2014, it would undergo a facelift, if you will, refurbishment, and then would be known as the Costa Neo Classica, you know, like the Matrix. And then in 2018, a little cruise line that could, over in West Palm Beach, known as Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line, would then buy that ship and turn it into the Bahamas Paradise Grand Classica. The Grand Classica would operate under the Bahamas Paradise name up until late 2021. I did actually sail on board that ship during that time, during the pandemic, and then in 2022, that ship would be then transitioned into Margaritaville at Sea Paradise. However, it was just kind of like a partnership deal from my understanding between Margaritaville and Bahamas Paradise, is if you look at the actual structure of the name and go into the little giblets and business parts of that particular line, it's still operating as Bahamas Paradise, so to speak. Margaritaville at Sea would make their grand announcement at the beginning of 2022, stating that they had a new product coming, which would be Margaritaville at Sea, their official cruise line. I even got invited to their Margaritaville resort over in the Fort Lauderdale, Florida area, and I was overall impressed and excited to see what Margaritaville was going to offer. The ship was originally supposed to launch on April 30th, 2022. However, out of nowhere, they said due to supply chain issues that they would be delaying in order to do some more refurbishments and have the ship undergo a major facelift. Now, many people, myself included, I did argue and say that 2 weeks isn't exactly a lot of time to completely renovate and paint and redesign a new cruise ship, especially one of that age in the season range of 30 years old. So it would appear that many of the skeptics and critics out there would turn out to be somewhat right, because the ship would launch almost exactly 1 year ago, and many people were somewhat disappointed at the fact that the ship didn't exactly bring out the flavor and style and brand that is Margaritaville. Now, unfortunately, I didn't go to the big debut because I took my mom over to Alaska on a cruise, and I wouldn't get on this ship until the beginning of December of 2022. When I did arrive on board, I did say that when the ship was Bahamas Paradise, it was somewhat understandable that the ship was seasoned and, well, a little beat up and had seen better days. It kind of, to me, gave the feel of like an old style form of cruising. But if you're going to launch a brand new cruise ship, a brand new brand, a new line, and this is what you debut, knowing that there is already a mirrored image of what that actual brand is supposed to portray, I think that's where Margaritaville kind of slipped and fell on their face. Now, when I sailed on this particular cruise ship last year, I did make a vlog on my other channel, Jay the Nomad. By the way, you should subscribe. Whenever I go on cruise ships, I do a couple videos during that time of live action, real-time videos without all the reviews. And then I make a legitimate, thorough review on my main channel, The Ship Life. That's kind of been my flow for the past, I want to say, like 6 to 9 months, and it works out pretty well. But both my vlog and my review garnered over 1 million views total, and I didn't expect a lot of people to watch. However, in those videos, I did tell people that when it comes to Margaritaville at sea, it is sort of like a starter pack cruise line, or if you were to win a free cruise, that's exactly what you would be put on. And this is not a knock by any means. There are some people that simply do not have the budget to afford a, let's say, a premium line like a Virgin or a Celebrity, and it's understandable. I'm not here to judge that. Also, when it comes to people's time, a 2-day sailing, which is what Margaritaville is operating, 2-day sailings out of West Palm Beach, going to Grand Bahama and coming back. They also have a really cool cruise and stay option in which you can just go ahead and go over there like a ferry type deal and stay over there and come back. For a lot of people, it fits their budget, it fits their time frame, because some people just can't get off for 1 week or two and just gallivander all over the world like moi and all of you fine folk out there. So that part is understandable. However, when it comes to the amenities offered on board, when it comes to the branding and everything else in between, it just doesn't exactly set the proper cruise ship tone in the typical way. At first, my review did garner a lot of attention and criticism as people were saying that I was bashing Margaritaville, and that was until other people sailed on that particular cruise ship. I believe it was Travel Spree. Shout out to them, good friends of mine, Fane and Laura. They made a now viral video with like the flute to Titanic song and showing the ship, and I think it has like a couple million views either on TikTok or Instagram. I believe it's been shown all over the place, and a lot of people are now understanding that this ship, it could see, well, potential better days if they were to undergo some refurbishments, and that's something, like I said, they should have done literally a year ago. A lot of people that have now been on the ship, they kind of have a bad taste in their mouth, and I think personally it is just bad for branding no matter how you look at it. Anyway, Margaritaville at Sea has announced that the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise cruise ship will be undergoing a multi-million-dollar renovation between the dates of, I believe it was May 19th up until the following month, or at least the beginning of June. I think it's like June 2nd or something like that. But they're going to be adding new things like upgrading the arcade, installing a pickleball court, putting in 2 new shows, and renovating and upgrading the rooms. So I do believe that, yes, it's justified, and finally, congrats to Margaritaville for deciding to make the change. But like I said, it's kind of one of those things that maybe hindsight is 2020, but it's also another situation where you would think that a massive company would know. I'm not sure exactly how much involvement Margaritaville, like the actual resort, has and plays a role in Margaritaville at Sea, but many would argue if you looked at both and you actually compared, because again, there's some people that have no problem with Margaritaville at Sea. So, some people would say it's validated. It's not bad for a quick getaway. I would agree. But like I said, if you've been to both and you try to compare, since they are the same brand, one and the same, naturally you would say, huh? What's going on here? Maybe you guys should make sure everything actually falls in line. It is understandable that maybe the ship doesn't go over to the Margaritaville at Sea. I believe they have one over in Nassau. But for them to operate these kind of sailings and for the ship to be as it is, it just doesn't look that great. But that's all I have for this one, guys. I'm not trying to make this a complaint or to bash Margaritaville. I'm just saying it's about time, and this is something that should have been done 1 year ago. If you guys agree with me, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you don't, also let me know your thoughts. Hit that like button on your way out. I'm actually getting ready to go meet up with my friends over at the Resilient Lady, and, well, I'm going to have a great day over here in Greece. I appreciate all of you. I love all of you, and I'll see you later. Take it easy.